Okay. Now, foot of perpendicular and length of perpendicular from a point to a plane. Cartesian form. Let the equation of the plane is ax plus by plus cz plus d equal to 0. So you have to calculate foot of the perpendicular from the point P x1 comma y1 comma z1 to the plane. So the foot of the perpendicular from the point P x1 y1 z1 to the plane ax plus by plus cz plus d equal to 0 can be obtained from the equation x minus x1 upon a equal to y minus y1 upon b equal to z minus z1 upon c equal to minus of ax1 plus by1 plus cz1 plus d upon a square plus b square plus c square. And length of perpendicular from the point P x1 y1 z1 to the plane, that is perpendicular distance from a point to the plane, is modulus of ax1 plus by1 plus cz1 plus d upon root of a square plus b square plus c square. Now, how to derive it? Here a comma b comma c are the direction ratios of the normal to the plane. That means direction ratios of the normal to the plane and Pn, they are parallel. That means direction ratios of Pn are also what? A comma b comma c. That means now you can write equation of Pn. So equation of Pn you can write RS direction ratios are proportional. So equation of Pn x minus x1 upon a equal to y minus y1 upon b equal to z minus z1 upon c. That is equation of Pn. Now let us take any point on this line, take as equal to t. That means any point on this line can be taken as n also. That means the coordinates of n will be x1 plus at, y1 plus bt, z1 plus ct. Now if the point n lies in the plane, so a into x1 plus at plus b into y1 plus bt plus c into z1 plus ct plus d equal to 0. Now from this we can get the value of t. So t equal to minus of ax1 plus by1 plus cz1 plus d upon a square plus b square plus c square. Now this you can substitute back. And if I substitute it in this, then I will get the coordinates of the foot of the perpendicular. So you are getting coordinates of foot of the perpendicular as well as this equation. Now length of perpendicular. So calculate distance between the 2 points P and N and simplify. Then you will get this. Okay. Image or reflection. Image or reflection of the point P x1 y1 z1 with respect to the plane ax plus by plus cz plus d equal to 0 can be obtained from the equation x minus x1 upon a, y minus y1 upon b, z minus z1 upon c equal to minus 2 times ax1 plus by1 plus cz1 plus d upon a square plus b square plus c square. Either you can derive exactly in the same manner, or else you calculate foot of the perpendicular and then foot of the perpendicular becomes a midpoint for P and Q, where Q is the image of P. Use the midpoint formula. Or else you can use the same derivation method as we have discussed for the foot of the perpendicular. Through once again. So foot of the perpendicular and length of perpendicular from a point to a plane in the vector form. Let a bar be the position vector of the point P and the plane is r bar dot n bar equal to d. So we have to calculate foot of the perpendicular of the point P in the plane. Now let us take foot of the perpendicular is n. So like in the Cartesian form, you can derive in the exactly same manner. So here n bar is the normal vector of the plane. That means Pn is parallel to n bar. That means equation of Pn in the vector form passing to a point and parallel to a vector, you can write as r bar equal to a bar plus lambda n bar. So any point on this line Pn can be taken as n. That means n I can take as a bar plus lambda n bar. Now if n lies in the plane, then I can substitute a bar plus lambda n bar in the equation of the plane and simplify. Then I'll get lambda as d minus a bar dot n bar upon modulus of n square. Now substitute back lambda in n. Then I'll get foot of the perpendicular, that is position vector of the foot of the perpendicular, as well as if I calculate Pn bar modulus, then I'll get the length of perpendicular. So position vector of the foot of the perpendicular of the point P in the plane r bar dot n bar equal to d is a bar plus d minus a dot n upon modulus of n square into n bar. So this is the foot of the perpendicular formula in the vector notation. And length of perpendicular modulus of Pn bar, that is On bar minus OP bar modulus. So a bar gets cancelled. So you can rewrite as modulus of a dot n minus d upon modulus of n bar. Now if you want to calculate image of the point P with respect to the plane in a vector notation, exactly same manner you can proceed, and then image of the point P with respect to the plane becomes a bar plus 2 into d minus a dot n upon modulus of n square into n bar. Position of 2 points with respect to a plane. So you will have two possibilities. The 2 points can be either side of the plane ax plus by plus cz plus d equal to 0, or 2 points can be on the same side of the plane. Now, let us take the plane, divide the line segment joining P and Q in the ratio of lambda is to 1. That means we can calculate the coordinates of r in terms of lambda and substitute the r coordinates in the plane, then you'll get the lambda value. If I take lambda is positive, then plane divides PQ internally. And if I take lambda is negative, then the plane divides PQ externally. Based on that, you can determine the condition for position of 2 points with respect to the plane. So here the coordinates of r will be lambda x2 plus x1 upon lambda plus 1, lambda y2 plus y1 upon lambda plus 1, lambda z2 plus 1 upon lambda plus 1. So r lies in the plane, then you can get the lambda value as minus of ax1 plus by1 plus cz1 plus d upon ax2 plus by2 plus cz2 plus d. So first case, lambda greater than 0. When lambda greater than 0 means this side is positive. That means here already minus is there. That means this ratio must be negative. That means numerator and denominator must be of opposite sign. So that means lambda greater than 0 means it is internal point of division. That means the condition for P and Q lie on either side of the plane. So these two expressions must be opposite sign, or the product must be less than 0. Exactly in the same manner, if lambda less than 0, then ax1 plus by1 plus cz1 plus d and ax2 plus by2 plus cz2 plus d must be of same sign. So condition for P and Q lie on same side of the plane. So either the same sign or the product is greater than 0. Transformation of unsymmetric form of a straight line in space to symmetric form of a straight line. Now, so unsymmetric form of a straight line means intersection of two non-parallel planes taken together represent the unsymmetric form. So if I take the equation of the planes as a1x plus b1y plus c1z plus d1 equal 0 and a2x plus b2y plus c2z plus d2 equal to 0, if they are non-parallel, then unsymmetric form of a line is a1x plus b1y plus c1z plus d1 equal to 0 equal to a2x plus b2y plus c2z plus d2. So this equation is unsymmetric form of a straight line. Now this equation we need to convert to the symmetric form of a line. Now, to write any line in symmetric form, to write any line in symmetric form, we should have one point and direction ratios of the line. So to write any line in symmetric form, we should have one point and the direction ratios of the line are 2 points on the line. So if you have either 2 points on the line or 1 point and direction ratios, then we can write the equation of the line in symmetric form. That symmetric form is x minus x1 upon a, y minus y1 upon b equal to z minus z1 upon c. So in that form we have to convert. Now if I want to calculate direction ratios of the line of intersection of the two planes, so if I consider direction ratios of the line of intersection as a comma b comma c, since a comma b comma c is the direction ratios of the line and the line lies in the plane, so line lies in the first plane as well as line lies in the second plane, and a1 b1 c1 are the direction ratios of the normal to this plane. So this line and the normal vector are perpendicular to each other, so the direction ratios of the dot product will be 0. That means you will get the condition a1 plus b1 plus c1 equal to 0. In the same manner, the line of intersection of the planes is also lies in the second plane. So again one more condition, a2 plus b2 plus c2 equal to 0. So by solving these two equations in the cross multiplication method, so we get the direction ratios of the line of intersection. After getting the direction ratios of the line of intersection, we need one specific point on this line of intersection of the planes. Now to have one specific point, because you are having infinite points on this line, we are having only two equations but three variables. So we need to fix any one of the variable and calculate other two variables. So usually we'll fix z equal to 0. So take z equal to 0, then the equation of the planes will become a1x plus b1y plus d1 equal to 0, a2x plus b2y plus d2 equal to 0. Solve this system of equations in two variables x and y, then you will get the coordinates of the point P. After getting the point P as well as the direction ratios, then we can write the equation of the line in symmetric form. So by solving these two equations, we can get as a upon b1 c2 minus b2 c1 equal to b upon c1 a2 minus c2 a1 equal to c upon a1 b2 minus a2 b1. And by substituting z equal to 0 in the planes and solve for the point of P, so coordinates of P will be b1 d2 minus b2 d1 upon a1 b2 minus a2 b1. Y coordinate is d1 a2 minus d2 a1 upon a1 b2 minus a2 b1, and z coordinate is 0. So the equation of the line in symmetric form, because the direction ratios we are having now as well as the point on the line. So equation of the line in symmetric form, x minus b1 d2 minus b2 d1 upon a1 b2 minus a2 b1 upon b1 c2 minus b2 c1 equal to y minus d1 a2 minus d2 a1 upon a1 b2 minus a2 b1 upon c1 a2 minus c2 a1 equal to z minus 0 upon a1 b2 minus a2 b1. Now here basically we are calculating direction ratios as cross product of the direction ratios of the two planes, a1 b1 c1 a2 b2 c2. Cross product will be this. Angle between two lines when they are in unsymmetric form, that is we can take as u equal to 0 equal to v, and let us say instead of u1 equal to 0 equal to v1 is one line in unsymmetric form and another line is u2 equal to 0 equal to v2. So these are the two lines in unsymmetric form where u1 v1 are planes and u2 v2 are the planes. Now So to calculate angle between the two lines when they are in unsymmetric form, so the minimum requirement is calculate direction ratios of the first line and direction ratios of the second line. So once you know direction ratios, then you can calculate angle between the two lines once in the direction ratios. So if I calculate direction ratios of this line are A1, B1, C1, and direction ratios are A2, B2, C2, and if theta is the angle between them, then I can write as cos theta equal to A1, A2 plus B1, B2 plus C1, C2 upon root of A1 square plus B1 square plus C1 square root of A2 square plus B2 square plus C2 square. So angle between two lines in unsymmetric form is same as the angle between the direction ratios of the corresponding lines. Conditions for the line to lie in a plane. Now let us consider Cartesian form and vector form at a time. So take the equation of the plane as ax plus by plus cz plus d equal to 0. Here a comma b comma c are direction ratios of the normal to the plane. And the equation of the straight line is x minus x1 upon L equal to y minus y1 upon m equal to z minus z1 upon n. The meaning of this is a line passing through a specific point a x1 y1 z1 with a direction ratios proportional to L comma m comma n. So if this straight line lies in the plane, means the specific point must satisfy the equation of the plane, means ax1 plus by1 plus cz1 plus d equal to 0, as well as direction ratios of the line LMN is along the plane and ABC are perpendicular to the plane. So the dot product is 0, that is AL plus BM plus CN equal to 0. So these are the two conditions required to say that the straight line lies in the plane. So exactly in the same manner, if I take the equation of the plane in vector form, r bar dot n bar equal to d, then n bar is the normal vector that is perpendicular to the plane, and equation of the line as r bar equal to a bar plus lambda b bar. So here a bar is position vector of a specific point on the line, and b bar is a vector parallel to the line. So a bar should satisfy the equation. So a bar dot n bar equal to d, and b bar must be perpendicular. So b bar dot n bar equal to 0. So if these two equations satisfy, then we can say that the line lies in the plane. So how to write equation of the plane containing a line? So if a line is given, there will be infinite planes you can have passing through a one line. So let us take given line is x minus x1 upon L equal to y minus y1 upon m equal to z minus z1 upon n. That means specific point on the line is x1, y1, z1 and direction ratios of the line proportional to L, m, n. So how you have to find equation of the plane containing this line. So equation of the plane passing through a point a x1, y1, z1 we can write as a into x minus x1 plus b into y minus y1 plus c into z minus z1 equal to 0. Here a comma b comma c are the direction ratios of the normal to the plane, and L comma m comma n are direction ratios of the line which is along the plane. So the condition another will be AL plus BM plus CN equal to 0. So this is the equation of the plane containing the line in Cartesian form. Now in the vector form, if I take equation of the line in vector form as r bar equal to a bar plus lambda b bar, then equation of the plane containing the line in vector form is r bar minus a bar dot n bar equal to 0 with b bar dot n bar equal to 0, because n bar is the perpendicular vector and b bar is along the plane. So that's why b bar dot n bar equal to 0. So intersection of a line with a plane. Let's take the equation of the line as x minus x1 upon L equal to y minus y1 upon b equal to z minus z1 upon c, and the plane as ax plus by plus cz plus d equal to 0. That means the line and the plane will intersect if the line is not parallel to the plane. That means if the line is not parallel to the plane, then the line will intersect the plane. Now, to find the coordinates of the point of intersection of the line with a plane, take any general point on the plane in parametric coordinates, and that if I take as a p in terms of t, so if I take equal to t, then the coordinates of p I can write as x1 plus LT y1 plus, let us take direction SSR LMN. So x1 plus LT, y1 plus MT, z1 plus NT. Now if I take this point of intersection as P, and if P lies in the plane, so if I substitute it, then I'll get the value of T. After getting T, back substitute in the P, then you'll get point of intersection of the line with the plane. So by substituting the point P in terms of T in the equation of the plane, then we'll get T equal to minus of AX1 plus BY1 plus CZ1 plus D upon AL plus BM plus CN. Now substitute T back in the point P, then we'll get the point of intersection of the line with the plane. So this is a method for in the Cartesian form. So exactly in the same manner we can have vector form also. So if I take vector form of the plane as r bar dot n bar equal to D and the line as r bar equal to a bar plus lambda b bar. So take any point on the line, that P itself you can take as r bar, that is a bar plus lambda b bar. If P lies in the plane, then we get lambda value after the back substitute lambda in P. So point of intersection of the line with the plane is a bar plus D minus a dot n upon b bar dot n bar into b bar. So next concept is family of planes. So if two planes are given, so through the line of intersection of the planes, you will have infinite planes. So what will be the form of the infinite planes passing through the line of intersection of these two planes? That is in the Cartesian form. If two planes are given P1 and P2, so it will be P1 plus lambda P2 equal to 0. That is A1x plus B1y plus C1z plus D1 plus lambda into A2x plus B2y plus C2z plus D2 equal to 0. So this is a plane passing through the line of intersection of these two planes. Exactly in the same manner, when vector form of the planes is given, so equation of the plane passing through the line of intersection of the two planes will be of the form r bar dot n1 bar plus lambda n2 bar equal to d1 plus lambda d2.